And we're back here at the desk after our second game of the second series. BDS come back here, and I have a lot of things to say about this game. I was very confused with what we saw. GB, what is the philosophical meaning of what we saw here?
Chaos. Chaos is what comes first to my mind, but I mean, I don't even know what went on in that last fight. I thought BDS was going to lose that and MDK was going to take it. Hell, I was on my way home. Like, I was on my way to go get chased. I thought the game was over, okay? But I'm sorry, but it's true. I thought the game was over. Here I am.
What happened here?
Well,
tell me.
Great engage initially to just split up the fight completely to finally have a man advantage. And it's been a bit of back and forth. It's been a bit around the mid lane. It's been a bit around the Baron, mostly around this area, but it's just the fact that it's an ice cleanup, right? It's the Aphelios that finally goes untouched, that gets to have the space that he wants in a team fight, and with no engage or peel against him, he's just like, he's taking over.
Yeah, and it just feels like we've been waiting over an hour of in-game time for Ice to actually have a pop-off moment. The first game, not really his fault. This game, a fair bit of it, he was kind of shut out and shut down, you know, on an individual level, but he gets repositioned by the Poppy ultimate, he gets one good ult over the wall, and he gets to take over the game. It's a complete, you know, juxtaposition compared to game one where you don't get to play the game as Twitch. At least here, sometimes you get to play the game as Aphelios.
Yeah, and I mean, some wacky picks from MDK that did not quite work out, but I'm going to take the list once again, because I feel like we saw more elements that we were looking for in BDS here.
I think the top one you can still show. Like, Ice Champion Universe, we've seen a Twitch, we've seen Aphelios today, AD carries we haven't seen too much of as of late, so that is perfectly fine.
One question for you guys. Is Labrov an OTP rel? Or not?
Well.
Well, rel, yes.
I mean, the stats...
Rel, yes. I mean, the stats don't lie.
Yeah, the stats don't lie, but yeah.
It's not that he's per se a one-trick. He's a bit of a merchant right now. That's what I'd call him. He's a bit of a rel merchant. I think it's obviously a pick that for BDS is crucial for them to function. They seem very, very, you know, not reliant, but they seem a lot more comfortable and confident around playing off of, you know, the Magnet Storm and then having a wombo combo tool with it. This game it was the Zyra. Other times it's been things like the Azir shuffles on Nuke. So I think it's just a pick that works very well. Not necessarily always inside the lane, but once the map opens up, creating pockets of fog of war and then jumping out of a bush to have more drop-in damage on top of that.
And it's just always been a good pick for BDS, even in earlier season as well, when they were just known as that standard Nuke is on Azir, we're just playing pure team fighting, Adam has a wacky pick, but even back then, Labrov was also on rail, and he was the one initiating these engages. They are just more comfortable when they're playing a champion like that. But even then, he had moments where this engage looked completely horrible, but he also had moments where, alright, you now made a perfect fight for BDS. And I think in general, was this game clean League of Legends from both sides? No, it was back and forth, it was very messy. And it's hard to break down because of that as well.
Okay, let's break down the draft then, because we've talked about Rel, we've talked about Ice in a late game AD carry that he can be empowered on. I do feel like we just saw what we wanted to see on the side of BDS, stuff that have been working with them before. What can we make of the draft from the side of Mad Lions though? Because I see what they wanted to do, but I'm thinking that some champions were not used to their full potential here, or maybe other choices. The Populous pick, for instance, I'm wondering what
I think if you're just looking at it initially, the first thing that comes to mind is that engage can be hard. Just finding that first pick initially will be very difficult, and you saw that when they were skirmishing or just tap dancing around that Baron, because they're just standing there and they were just hoping that someone would walk into some of the CC that they would have available, and it didn't happen. So they clearly need something where there's just a bit more explosive power in terms of fighting these fights, because they want to take them, they just really couldn't.
Yeah, just had to be a little bit more snappy. Honestly, it's very similar, or there's a lot of similarities between this game's draft and last game's draft, where for Mad Lions they want to make picks so they can actually have a numbers advantage, but they don't have snappy CC, right? And I think that's kind of the big problem. When you have something like Zyra, I mean, it's at least dodgeable, yes, but out of Fog of War, sometimes you just can't react to the root, and that was what we saw a lot of the time. It would be Labrov face-checking, they'll get the pick on him, awesome. With this kind of setup with Mad Lions, just the slight alteration towards Poppy, towards Taliyah, it's not as consistent, and that was really the big thing. So maybe just shifting away, not necessarily from the Braum, because I think the Braum is working somewhere else on the map, whether it's out of the jungle role or whether it's out of top lane. They need something that's just going to pull the trigger like that, lock down a member, and then play a very similar style of game that they did to Game 1 in Game 3.
I'm actually wondering if the fact that some BDS members played honestly much better than they did in Game 1, with better tools as well, is not also going to have an impact in how we can define Game 3. I'm thinking of Nuke here, mostly in the mid lane. We know that when he has the potential to carry, and when he does it phenomenal. And here, well, he made a lot of things happen here, I feel, for BDS.
This feels like ages ago, right? I wanted to request that to be like, yo, Nuke, he's still showing up even in this game where it's not really looking good for BDS, but I really have to say, in this series in general, Nuke, yeah, he's still stepping up. But I gotta say, the rest of BDS, honestly, I expected better from what we have seen in regular season. Coming into a game like this, where MDK were the one who had to go through the tiebreaker just to get here, I thought they were going to be struggling a lot more. But it seems like the break has really just given them more time to improve and continue to refine what they need to get better at. Whereas BDS, it kind of seems like they've fallen a bit behind in what they were so good at, which were the early objective, which was the mid-game macro and the team fighting in general. I just haven't seen it to the same extent that I saw in regular season right now.
Yeah, I think just dotting I's, crossing T's for BDS, slowing the game down to a reasonable pace where they don't actually allow Mad Lions to get these really weird invades. It was what they were very good at in spring and then throughout winter, where they would just kind of force numbers in. Mad Lions have been allowed to do that a fair few times in this series into objectives, and I think for BDS, they've just not necessarily reacted in a, you know, in a strong way to some of these what can occasionally be audacious charges in from Mad Lions. So I think slowing the game down, having more consistent and solid setup, where it's like, okay, we have all the information in our hands, let's make our play. As long as they don't wait, you know, forever like Rogue used to do. They're not here anymore. I'll dig at Rogue whenever I can.
Get over it, man.
Then BDS, I think will have a much solider shot here in this game 3.
To sum this up, this series has been nothing I was expecting, but I'm all here for it. Casters, take us to game 3.
But every part of this series, Laure, has been pretty sick, except for the part where they stood in front of Baron and procced Warmogs like 300 times for 5 minutes. Other than that, this has been awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't... Mad Lions was the team that I'm not surprised that they've leveled up. I will say that I wasn't expecting this series to go the way that it has been going.
Yeah, you thought a little bit of levels, not like to the same. They didn't level up to the same level as BDS.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that there was quite a hill for them to climb, but hell, I mean, they've been doing some fitness over the last 2 weeks, and let's see, will Braum be banned? I think they need to really consider getting rid of it.
At least second rotation. Like, when you take Rel early on, or Leona, or Nautilus, I mean, your staple bans are going to be Alistair and Braum, pretty typically second rotation. We'll see. I think it really should be.
My suggestion for BDS would be first pick the Zeri.
Go on.
Then you give up, give up Tristana, Taliyah, it's fine. And then if you want, you can go for your then Corki and then Zyra, which you've proven is totally fine. But I think that they need an AD carry that has more for Ice, personally. I think that Aphelios was effectively invisible and really hard to execute up until the very final fight where he got a really nice ultimate off. But I do think they need to put a high priority on this AD carry that has a little bit of safety and also just limit some of the range options that MDK have.
I do agree with you. I think AD carry pool might have gone a little bit too pinched last game and last champ select.
Well, they're not doing that. They're first picking Zyra and said, you know what, we think this is the stronger AP jungler of the two.
And look, like based on what we saw in the previous game, while Elyoya did get off to an incredible start in the team fights, Zyra's reliable output was just much higher overall. So short of more really high early game impact coming in from Elyoya, if he does opt again for the Taliyah,
Zeri Trist, I think is just going to be the option, right? It's the same rotation as last time. I mean, they can take away Taliyah as well if they want to. Taliyah's been really high prior.
What if we did the same draft 3 times?
Guys,
just to be certain.
It's like Odoamne picking paper 6 times in a row.
He is a genius of rock, paper, scissors, though. He did win with that strategy.
He did. Well, maybe that's the Mad Lions strategy. I don't know.
It's possible.
They're using their time to think about what they want to do, because clearly the priority is going to be Zeri Tristana.
I was going to say, it's like this is the best mid laner.
But they're not talking about that pick, right? They're talking about what they're going to do after. Sure. So that makes sense. They want to use the time that they have available to them. Obviously, it's not a lot that you get between choosing champion.
So is it going to be Nautilus Corki? That's the question.
I don't want to see
That's
Nautilus
another run back.
Again. I don't want to see Nautilus again. I think they should prioritize their AD. In fact, maybe even just pick bot lane. You have Azia, Taliyah. Never mind.
Alright, okay, Corki.
It could be a Corki Nautilus Braum into Braum angle, or maybe a Alistair if we're feeling extra daring, I think.
Is Labrov ready to pick the Braum, though?
Oh, we drop it!
Okay, so this time they're going to prioritize the AD carry. I prefer this.
Good, yes.
It does, of course, mean that the support pool can be pinched a little bit more, as the Taliyah very likely, there it is, going to be locked in.
So we've essentially matched in the first phase. So either side can pinch either side's pool, but there's no mismatch.
It's going to be Braum ban from BDS.
100%. If they don't, I will be very surprised.
I do think this is really good, because last time AD carry went through the second rotation, we just saw Kai'Sa Jinx bans, and just there was nothing left.
It was game 1 too, right? They kept the same strategy going.
So now, what are you going to do? You're going to facilitate counterpick on R5 for top lane, for Myrwn again. I feel like that's your best strategy. His classic picks are up, TF. You know, if you want to ban TF to set up your Renekton or your Cassante blinds for Adam.
What if no engage? What if enchanters?
What if I mean, this makes sense. They're going to do the same top bans. I mean, they know they have to blind pig top, so why bother pinching support? Means that they're quite happy to give the Braum over, I guess. Which, I mean, I get. But I do think the Braum has been a problem.
Yeah. I mean,
BDS disagreed with me, though. So, I mean, that's fine.
I think BDS's last ban could telegraph what they pick, right? It could be a Yasuo ban to set up Gnar. It could be maybe something like a Kennen to set up Renekton. I mean, it could be Camille to set up the Gnar as well. On them.
This is the most anticipation I've had for a Braum ban in the history of League of Legends.
I mean, I'm not cool. They keep letting it through, man.
It's Nico, so it's Renekton blind.
I mean, well called. Eragon. They weren't going to go for it. So, do they want to go for the Braum again?
Teasers.
Oh, okay, we're mixing it up.
Leona? Okay, so the thing is with Rakan blind is like he's very susceptible to CC, and with tenacity changes, Leona is really good in general and also in to this champion. So I wonder if they pick that up for Labrov. It also facilitates hard engage. You really need a melee champ with the Zyra. So
yeah, I was contemplating, once I saw the Nautilus ban, maybe they were expecting a Braum ban, so they banned Nautilus with the whole, like, we're planning on picking Rakan anyway.
Blitzcrank!
Oh, that's a common combo, the Jinx Blitzcrank.
Well, and a little bit more supportal combat. Both of these guys have the opportunity to really make those game-defining plays. The Renekton blind pick, unsurprising.
This is not a lot of engage for BDS. They have pick potential, they've got range, they've got pretty good poke, solid scaling, but their ability to start fights, quite limited.
No one starts fights in this game.
No one starts fights.
Except for Alvaro.
Yeah, not going to go the Poppy Taliyah combo this time into the Renekton, rather going to go like a Sante, which is a better overall tank in my opinion.
And I think it's important to know, while we saw Labrov really struggle in the previous game with the Rel to make these big plays, there's not really good tools on the side of Team BDS to interrupt or stop this Rakan from doing what he wants to do. Now, if they hit any CC on him ahead of that combo, whether it's the Jinx traps, the snare, the Blitzcrank knockup, or hook, yeah, he'll get one shot. But very easy if he does find that angle to make the play happen. There's no get-out-of-jail-free card like the Poppy or the Taliyah on the side of Team BDS.
I think this Cassante could be a real problem for Jinx, because when you pair that up with Blitz, inherently you have less peel, right? And I think like Myrwn has had some great Cassante games since he's joined the LEC. He's been able to have like solo carry performances. I remember back in winter, and whenever I see Cassante into Jinx, I feel like Cassante can consistently get on top of a Jinx. And he doesn't also care if he's diving alone,
if
but
you're
he won't
Blitz, you're like, please press W, please press W, please go unstoppable. And then if he doesn't, you've just ruined the game for your team.
So I think that Jinx is going to have limited support when it comes to when Myrwn actually looks to dive, but this is a very specific and niche thing in the overall grand scheme of the fight. MDK obviously have a very similar comp to what they've been drafting the entire series. Probably the biggest difference now is that Braum punished face checks very heavily. I feel like that not having the Braum means that you don't have that tool anymore. However, you have a much easier way to start fights off. Rakan is great at snap engages, very fast engage, really good follow-up as well for any potential catches. So MDK have a resource that they haven't really shown so far this series, and it's going to be a question of how they leverage it and have this like shift in a draft that they've shown us now multiple times in this series.
Definitely. Pressure on both sides. Game 3 in this best of 3. It is double elim. Both these teams will have another chance if they do fall down here. But to be on the upper side of the bracket, a massive boon, especially for MDK, a team that came in looking like the weakest of our 8 teams in playoffs. BDS, on the other hand, seemed to be on an inevitable march towards the top of the table. Now it's starting to feel a little bit different. MDK have really come to life in this series. They've shown us a lot more. Labrov starting to fish for hooks. Alvaro confidence in his ability to sidestep.
I will say, these comps are very similar to the past 2 games. I wouldn't be surprised to see some...
One could even say the same.
The exact same. The only difference is now is that Alvaro has to concede early way more, I feel like, right? Braum can hold his own a little bit more in scuffles, but at the very least he could roam similarly to how he was doing on Braum.
Yeah, I mean, we already discussed, right? Like, core utility that Braum provides is significantly greater. Very strong at disengaging, has potential for setup, has the damage mitigation from the Unbreakable. There's a lot that Braum provides. His biggest weakness is that it's not the strongest tool to starting fights. Rakan is kind of like significantly less CC, but is actually very good at starting fights. And that's the biggest shift that we'll see from MDK for BDS. Labrov has been the primary initiator in this series with the Nautilus and the Rel. This time around, he's on much more of a pick champion, finding the AD carries out of position, being able to land those hooks. We've seen some great Blitzcrank games from Labrov throughout this year. He's a player that you should trust him on this pick 100%. But it all comes down to being able to find those hooks, get onto those key players. This champion can win or lose you a game in many instances.
Hook onto Alvaro. Bit extra slow, bit extra poke back, but just some level 1 trading as Ice.
Very nice trade.
And I think it's important to call out because this is really comfort for both of these players, right? Alvaro, incredible Rakan games across all of winter. He was really the big playmaker for this team. And for Labrov on Blitzcrank, right? This was a signature pick for so long. And he's been super consistent on there, incredibly close. They see the hook miss, though. You know, it's time to get aggressive from the side of MDK, looking to lay a little bit more damage down onto Ice. Glacial gets them some space for BDS, but very positive trade for the MDK bot lane.
I mean, MDK's bot lane know that they have a heal advantage, so they just trade health, knowing that they're going to be able to win out in the extended fight. Nice awareness from MDK, gets them a small advantage in the 2v2, but CS is still slightly in favor of Ice, so overall, nice back and forth, but the flash, crucially, taken away from Ice means that there's potential for Elyoya to set up for a play. Yeah,
heal used to create more uptime to be able to auto-attack from Supa. Now Elyoya is pathing down to bot side. And the prior is Fresskowy's, so I wonder if there could be a dive here, potentially. Ice is very low and flashless.
What is the angle? Do they want to go for it? Again, outside of the bot lane trading, relatively quiet early game. Both junglers power farming, power clearing as expected. Sheo, obviously with a more favorable champion in terms of early clear, especially as Taliyah was very heavily hit in the jungle role on this patch.
Ice just recalled. You could tell he kept channeling it, then cancelling, then channeling it. He wasn't sure if he could stay under tower there on that HP, facing that potential dive. In the end, he manages to go through, but now he's going to miss waves down in bot side.
Such a frustrating position to be in. Labrov, it looks like burning some of his health to try to stop the wave from crashing. Sheo rotating over. Elyoya here first. Flick back does manage to hit. Sheo no boots. Means he's in trouble now. Instant leap in coming from Fresskowy. Nice double root from Sheo to keep that one going. A little bit more damage to Fresskowy, and it's first blood. Elyoya flashing to secure with a threaded volley. He has double buffs now. Nuke just wants to finish the kill. Flick back does manage to hit Elyoya. Not going to get greedy. Doesn't want to extend any further. TP's coming into mid lane, but Alvaro is here too, and Labrov incredibly low.
Ultimately, a 1-for-1, but I understand why Fresskowy committed to that play. Oh, hang on a minute.
Supa coming in. Supa onto tower. Alvaro trying to body block. Supa wants to get the kill back. Oh, it's a comedy of errors. Nuke managing to make it out. Does not bring the bomb back into the Blitzcrank.
A clutch hook connects from Labrov. These are the type of plays you need to see as Adam flashes in.
Stun. Myrwn waiting on Q3. Q3 will work. The flick back does connect, but it brings it back into Myrwn. Oh, it's so awkward, but they get the kill.
What is going on? Elyoya gets another kill for MDK. Sheo makes his way top lane, but he's not going to get anything off the back of it. 4 kills already within the span of 60 seconds.
Elyoya is everywhere on the map, making plays at mid and top. Adam sees an angle. He thinks he can auto-empower W to kill the Cassante, but then he gets chain CD with the Q3 into the Taliyah W, and he just falls.
The small healing that came in for Myrwn, the knockback, we got to go all the way back here. Crucially, look at the plants underneath in that bottom brush. When Fresskowy commits, he doesn't realize that he's committing also, and then they do all this extra damage, which actually helps them get the kill. He would have been able to get that initial kill as...
One more engage mid lane. Nuke already Wing out, dash forward, gets rooted up in the tower. Play denied.
So they don't have the damage.
Don't have it, Cleaning Quill healing. Keep him topped up, but...
And that didn't even talk about the fact that Supa and Alvaro collapse in mid, trying to get the kill onto Nuke. Then he gets hooked underneath the tower. And then you think, okay, BDS get themselves a small advantage. But then in top lane, Elyoya with the perfect timing to get the knockback onto Adam to save his top laner. And it ends up being 2 for 2. And we're in a dead even state once more.
No summoners across the board, though. I mean, that's a regank on any single lane if you want to. I imagine mid lane once again with those roaming tools, but Elyoya's looking bot side.
Elyoya positioned to go to the bottom lane. Myrwn going to try to weather the storm in isolation.
I think it's valuable to kind of take stock of the situation because obviously like kills are dropping across the board, but we kind of look at some of the individual goal differences. Now the money has been spent for Fresskowy. He's going to come back to base. Nuke is going to lose a little bit of farm. You can see that in terms of experience, they're still relatively even, but Adam has a pretty healthy lead on the top side of the map. Even though he did die, this early matchup still very much going in his favor as he sets his eyes on some early grubs, which they're going to take advantage of. So BDS, good read on the map. They saw the timing of Fresskowy's back, and they leveraged the pressure they have in mid and top to open up the first objective of the game.
Grubs have been such high value this series, both teams have really prioritized them. Whether or not they're going to use them. Is this the first sub-20 minute dragon?
I thought this was the only place on the map that no one would ever go, but I was wrong. Finally, in Game 3, we will see a dragon before 15 minutes. Still, I think a suboptimal trade. Obviously, Grubs in general in pro play just considered to be much, much stronger. But
if MDK can contest the next ones, and it ends up just being 3 for 3, I think that being able to get the early dragon has long-term benefits.
And it certainly never hurts, right? Even if it is lower priority, if you can't get something else back, you should try to trade.
Yeah, I will say a small caveat to how good the Grubs are this game is the fact that the side laners will have to deal with the global and Elyoya on the Taliyah, so it's going to be hard for them to hit towers because they always have to see Elyoya first, otherwise there'll be a numbers disadvantage. So, small caveat, but still very valuable.
Yeah. Makes it that much more important to deny the Grubs from the opposing team as well. And of course, Ice on the Jinx, if he's left alone, can do a little bit of work, but it's going to be a bit of time before the Jinx is much of a threat.
We're in a very early game with BDS having some control around the top side of the map, but MDK consistently getting push in mid thanks to the Tristana, and in the bot lane 2 versus 2, they're able to find that wave clear as well. Just because Jinx not the strongest when it comes to being able to skirmish. If Blitzcrank can find a hook, then there's possibility. But, this wave going to be caught by Supa as Alvaro looks for a bit of a roam around the map. He's a little bit behind on experience, very close to level 5 though.
Vision in the try, Q won't hit. Of course, he spent a lot of time roaming, means he has missed out on a lot of XP. That's Supa getting level 6 as a result, but Rakan, of course, I think needs the level 6 much more than Blitzcrank needs it. So it would be good to get him to that point soon.
I mean, right now, there's nothing ready for the teams to play for, so it's just a lot of trading back and forth. Priority on farming, the support's looking for opportunities, and speaking of, Labrov sets his sights, but we've seen this trade millions of times between the Tristana and the Corki.
As long as he holds the W, yeah.
There's patience there from Fresskowy.
There was a small timer there where Elyoya had with the 6 versus a lot of flashless targets, but now that window's going to close. Nuke's going to secure his flash as well. And that point of volatility, let me say volatile anymore as I say that, as Alvaro's here. Labrov.
Labrov, just like game 1, walks into the wrong brush, and who is waiting for him but 2 members of MDK, the flashback. They learned from their previous attempts, though. They're not going to continue into the Blitzcrank and risk getting hooked under tower.
Nicely done. Labrov is able to get away. Of course, does lose his flash. Nothing really going to be converted off the back of that. The Grubs are spawning in about a minute and a half. This should be the next point of contention. Typically, we've seen BDS do early swaps for these Grubs. We've seen them swap for the first Grubs, swap back, and then when the second Grubs spawn, they swap one more time. We'll see if they look to try and do that. This could be an opportunity here for Ice, as Supa looking to go back to base himself. But, you imagine that these Grubs are going to be the next thing that both these teams set their sights on.
Yeah, they could do that. I wonder if they'll cross-map down bot side as well with Jinx. Since she takes towers so fast, it could be a cross-map angle and getting loads of plates onto her. They're going to send her down bot again, because Renekton's so strong topside anyway. Maybe he can secure Grubs as well.
It does look like that's going to be the game plan.
In a good spot. If they can get even a single Grub, they'll take over to the 4 buff, and if Ice is left alone, they'll do so much work on that bot lane tower. So
look at the positioning of Supa. He's the one to go and catch top wave. So MDK are doing...
Oh, Alvaro. Finally going to see BDS, but I don't know if there's much way to get out here. Hook pulled back, instantly deleted. Nice patience from the side of BDS.
Well, those Grubs are going to be harder to contest now.
Yep.
Unfortunately for MDK, without their support, they're going to be guaranteed numbers disadvantage. Labrov looking for a hook.
More hook, Supa. The footwork, no.
At the very least, for MDK, there's no TPs available for BDS, so they can't catch bot wave. And Cassante, Myrwn, is going to be able to cross-map down on bot side. No demolish angle, though.
He's about to get his back, but he's preoccupied in the mid lane.
Adam holds his TP, though. I guess he knows because
it was very close.
It was very close to coming off cooldown, yeah. At this point, already lost a decent amount, but it's Sheo who now might be in trouble, needs to find a good angle to ultimate. Immediately getting down a bit of burst damage, ulti going through, but he's just deleted. MDK continuing to follow up. Ulti used by Supa. Myrwn TPing in, but play's going to fizzle. Does mean, however, that MDK priority access to the Grubs will likely even things up 3-3.
I really like how Elyoya has been using this Taliyah wall, both in Game 2 and in Game 3. Eragon talks about how careful you have to be thanks to that semi-global. And Elyoya helps his team find a pick. Adam throws out the ultimate.
Hoping to build up Fury. Knockup is good to kick things off. Myrwn still going forward. Alvaro incredibly low. Myrwn still has the ultimate. Q3 not going to come through. 2 more grubs grabbed. 4th buff denied. BDS not able to get into position. So well played by MDK thus far. No one looking at the bottom lane right now. It's all about topside. Pole dwelling ulti is good. Labrov in the wrong spot, and he's going to get punished for it.
Yeah, Adam preemptively trying to find a play there with Fury from the ultimate. He had flash. He was going to try and flash W Supa on the Zeri. In the end, he has to buffer the Rakan knock and flash away, so the play isn't there.
MDK, they converted into a pick regardless. TP now going to be spent by Nuke because he knows there's not really much on the map to play for. Try and catch this wave. Maybe even get a play in bot lane. Is he going to leave it? Looks like he's going to leave it. Oh, Nuke. Oh.
Will he get the play? Yes.
No, he didn't. He even committed his W.
I was going to say, the second I saw the W, I was like, he for sure has it.
Yeah. Well, that's sad.
This man not invited to the cookout. He cannot have a plate.
So it looks like we're going to get Jinx up top side, going to cross-map the tower platings, and MDK, there's actually a real dragon win con this game. And it's not going to be a terrible dragon either. Cloud Soul is already down out as an option.
Infernal next.
Say that Chemtech Soul this time.
Okay, look.
Also, I was looking at, like, I was just going through some stats, and Chemtech is abnormally high in both of these teams' games, just for what it's worth.
That's such a specific stat.
I know, right? It's very strange. But there's just
you're like, this is what I need to know?
I stumbled upon it, okay? And I was just kind of browsing through the stats on Games of Legends, very helpful site. But it's, yeah, one of the random stats they have is like Dragon. And for these 2 teams in particular, there's just, on average, a lot of Chemtech Dragons in their games.
Woo! Well, look at that prediction.
See? My prep proved valuable.
Thank you, Game of Legends. Alvaro finds the knockup. Labrov not too concerned. Still has the movement speed steroid. See if the rocket grab comes out. But again, a relatively quiet game. MDK clearly fishing for hooks. Ice able to push the wave first, forcing the response from Fresskowy here.
Chemtech Soul gives heal and shield power, and they play a lot of Ivern. Maybe that's why it's skewed.
No, you think RNG is skewed?
Yeah, I was going to say
by what they pick.
No, that's why they have a high win rate with this dragon.
No, it's not win rate.
It's just appearance rate.
Oh. It's just dragons. When they get dragons, let's say there's 20 dragons.
They predict heads a lot. That's why the coin flip comes up heads.
Yeah, no, they just have a lot of Chemtech dragons in their games. Anyway, regardless, we've spent too long on that point. Let's take stock of what has happened. Dragon did go in favor of MDK, obviously. Pressure is being put on the side lanes. Plate was secured in the top side of the map. Those are now going to be wearing off. And the Herald is alive, which right now MDK have position on. They've got Fresskowy being able to push through the top side of the map. Supa is already pushed in through mid. And it's a situation where MDK are calmly controlling the early game. Set up nicely for these early game objectives. Yeah,
MDK have full control. Their side lanes both win, right? Eclipse loses the Thornmail in terms of the Renekton versus Cassante matchup, and you have uncompleted item on the Corki versus the Kraken Slayer. So you have very free and easy macro right now, especially since you have global pressure in the side lane as well. BDS just have to concede.
I also just think it's really rough for a team with Blitzcrank to be playing at a deficit, right? Look at him. There's no mysterious hook. They see exactly where he is. He has to be there, mid lane, catching that wave. He can't be waiting in the darkness. So MDK holding on to advantage, holding on to prio in their lanes is so big for stopping the only real form of engage, and if you want to call hook engage, from coming through.
It's an interesting point because the thing that we've probably praised MDK the most for is their objective control, specifically with vision. They've been very good at seeing what BDS is trying to do and doing a good job of mitigating it and finding picks themselves. So let's see how Labrov can navigate through that vision and whether or not he can find any picks.
Labrov waiting. Doesn't want to hook Alvaro. Alvaro flashing over the wall, does manage to hit the double charm, even if he can't hit the knockup. Labrov now running. Knockup from Sheo, not going to hit on anybody. MDK. 2 quick kills in the blink of an eye.
Alvaro flashes into the wall, but that doesn't matter. He finds the charm onto 2 people, and Elyoya finds the nice layering, really utilizing the ability to make picks with his composition.
Swift execution for MDK. The engage was flubbed by Alvaro, but it doesn't matter. The rest of his team converted into a winning play. And they secured the mid tower as well. MDK looking strong here as they enter the mid game. Second items are going to be coming through very soon. And with the Dragon in about 2 minutes time, they're way ahead of schedule when it comes to their spikes.
I was about to say, this is where BDS can maybe turn it around in the side lane, at the very least in the Corki lane, because he had completed Triforce. That's really when Corki comes online. But then that play happens. They tried to strong side the top side, maybe find a pick with the Blitzcrank. Just doesn't work out, and now they're once again behind.
And look, if all the gold was concentrated in one place, you could maybe look for an angle. But even though the W doesn't connect, the flash to follow, still able to land the charm. We've highlighted it already. Just beautiful, beautiful use of the abilities there.
I mean, well executed from MDK. And I will say, from the perspective of BDS, the thing that I praised the most for, based on their regular season, was their objective control in the regular season. They would leverage just lane swaps a lot. They would just swap their bot lane, especially Jinx lanes, out of the bot lane 2 versus 2, and they would catch their opponents off guard, use that to convert it into a grubs, maybe get a play, swap back out again, and they just made smart map moves in the early game, which is where a lot of their early game advantages came from, and then they controlled these early objectives. And as the series has gone on, it feels like that MDK has just been taking that control away from them in this game. It's been a very one-sided affair.
Myrwn just walking face first into ice, hoping to catch him, stepping too far up on that wave. Alvaro now needs to retreat. Labrov not in a great position to land the hook, but MDK doing exactly what they did in game 1, hunting, looking for those weaknesses in the armor, trying to find those angles. Labrov really wants to find the hook flash for the silence, the sidestep. No, that hurts.
They're committing 5 people BDS into the mid lane play consistently from side because they don't want to play side lane, but they don't have any engage. So every single time it has to come down to Labrov landing a hook, Alvaro dodges it, and then there's nothing, and they lose their towers on the cross map.
The idea there is promising because they realize it's hard for them to contest the mid wave to then gain access into the bot side river. So let's get a pick, leverage numbers advantage to then be able to fight the next dragon. But they couldn't find it. That's why we talked about how volatile this Blitzcrank pick can be. If you're not finding the hooks, then its impact becomes very limited. And it means that MDK now have full control over this bot side of the map. TP flank, though, from BDS.
We've been in this position before. Fresskowy able to escape, maybe this time around. Again, BDS really no reliable CC. You can see them fishing. They're so desperate to make something happen, but they're just behind on every play, and it's not going to get any easier. The K'Sante is only getting tankier, and there are 3 physical damage champions on the opposite side.
Nuke, too afraid to Valkyrie over the wall to chase the Tristana. Leaping over to escape. Fresskowy managed to get away, and there's no pick. And once again, usually on these kind of plays, when you contest Dragon, you choose whether or not you want to, and then you cross map the other side if you don't. Myrwn is winning both sides of the map because he gets to farm up topside with that wave, and they also secure Dragon, so it's just MDK macro across the board doing better.
It certainly is, which coming into this series I wasn't expecting, but they really are just outplaying on a macro front, individual front, BDS right now. I think the only counterpoint is Nuke, I think, has had a better series than Fresskowy overall, but aside from that, I think that MDK is just playing incredibly well.
I think the thing with MDK is there was a lot of magic involved, it felt like, with the 3-man core of Elyoya, Alvaro, and Supa when they ran around and made picks. This happened a lot in the winter, and it just feels like it wasn't there. It felt like it wasn't there, rather, in the spring and early on in summer. But now, we're seeing it every single game in this series. It feels like MDK are just back.
And we've heard from the team, right? It's a lot about getting that confidence back. They were able to have that 3-0 final day to bring them into playoffs. Now, very close to a 2-1 win over BDS. 3 Drakes stacked up, 5K gold lead, only 19 minutes into the game. Baron right around the corner. This is a team that seems to thrive when everything is going well, and everything is going damn well for them now. Myrwn hooked, but again, this is not the ideal target. They do not do damage. The only person who can hurt Myrwn is Sheo, and he needs a hell of a lot of time to kill this K'Sante.
Now, again, MDK's vision control has been immaculate. Ideally, our observers can showcase what BDS see. We got it around the Dragon, and it was very limited. But, like, look at this vision control. You can't see anything. You want to walk up, you want to contest, and the engage.
But
Labrov has no flash.
Supa now ulting, wants to keep the fight going. MDK potentially a little over-eager. Nice hook from Labrov.
Nice traps from Ice. I was worried about it, but I think Supa was paranoid about getting caught up in the traps, so he then chose to E over the wall. Ends up not getting punished for it. Ultimates were invested there, but ultimately it's again, still great position for MDK to be in.
And I think this is a great case study, honestly, on the draft in terms of Tristana. I really think Tristana deserves higher prior in this. I know I keep saying it, but you keep letting them have Tristana, then taking Corki 3 games in a row, and they get down on red side. And now you pick Blitzcrank in a game where you can floppy hook it on Trist, and then you also have potential K'Sante angle with a W. And it just feels like these picks where alternatively you could have had something like Leona, which is incredibly consistent, and you see it sees play as B1 all around the world. Honestly, back to the drawing board, I think, with drafts for BDS.
I mean, my theory is that like MDK have clearly found a formula for success, right?
Yeah.
And BDS didn't really try to break their formula at all. They kind of stuck to their game plan and allowed MDK to do what it is that they want to do, and they've been very consistent with it. So, but right now the Baron becomes the priority. Again, vision control largely as MDK continue to look for a pick.
Look at Myrwn on the flank. If Ice ever steps up too far onto a wave, he's a dead man walking. Yeah. He might be a dead man now. Myrwn.
Look at Myrwn. He is hunting. He's hunting.
He knows if he isolates the Jinx, he can just delete Ice. And he remembers last game, right? It was a single fight where Ice had 4 items. That really brought BDS back in. Myrwn looking for the angle. Doesn't quite line up, but now it's Labrov who's been caught out. Instant ulti, but Sheo trying to punish. Good damage. Ice now getting excited, getting the resets. Adam going in full damage, but he can't finish Supa. Myrwn gonna keep his AD carry standing. Rakan goes completely wide. Nuke caught out, and that should be the Baron for BDS, but it might be even more. Elyoya goes golden. Fresskowy, does he want to commit more? Ice trying to step up, trying to carry, but Sheo cannot do much to stop it. Satchel charge ticking. Ice will stay alive. MDK, can they turn to the Baron?
Everyone on MDK lives. They're able to get away with it. They find 3 kills. If the fight wasn't as extended, MDK would have converted that into a Baron. But you know what? They'll take the gold. They'll be happy with the waves pushed in. They can go back to base and get ready for the Soul. The pressure is still on BDS. And it feels like that, yes, they found a miracle fight to turn game 2 around. I don't know if they're going to find the same in game 3.
And BDS Ice specifically was looking for that reset. Adam almost provides it for them. The assist could have gone in on Supa here. He flashes over the wall here, dashes forward, but then the flash comes out and he misses the dash. If he dashes upward, maybe it connects. Regardless though, Ice doesn't get the reset, and there's no rundown. Like you said, everyone lives on 1 HP.
I mean, this is so brutal. Losing the member in the meantime. Ice stepping up, luckily is able to walk away.
Myrwn even provided the shield onto Elyoya as well. Oh, wow. Well played from MDK.
Alvaro not quite able to find the angle, immediately going to get picked off, still able to ulti, Labrov taken out, the rest of BDS not feeling confident to step up, and again, the front line of Myrwn just stopping any potential follow-up damage.
I mean, yeah, it was a ballsy pick to go for the Blitzcrank, and it hasn't paid off. He loses his life, 23 minutes in, MDK with an overall 7k gold lead, now they're looking for more.
Ice caught out. They've set up this play 5 times trying to catch Ice, and on the 5th time it works, and now MDK priority access on the Baron.
We talked about BDS's adaptability, and it feels like they've only had 1 play this entire series, which is go from side to mid because you can't play side because you're against a global and Taliyah or losing side lane. And every single time, it does not work. MDK answer it, they use their globals and punish. Now BDS, can they contest?
But going wide, have to be careful about grouping in the pit immediately. Sheo's going to throw in the ultimate, a lot of upfront damage. BDS, Ice is still dead. They lose 1. Baron still leashed, Baron still the objective. Alvaro still standing, Baron will not kill him. Purple Worm to the side of MDK.
I mean, this is just a clean slaughter on the side of MDK. Games 1 and 2 got messy at times. MDK at the very end dropped the ball and Ice was able to find a miracle fight. But really, this series has just been dominated by MDK. And BDS have failed to show us the adaptability, the level that we expected of them, as we find Ice getting caught in mid lane.
Yeah, flashless Ice here. But the big thing I want to highlight is the fact that they keep managing to pick off Labrov all series long. I felt like they've contained him really well.
Oh, yeah.
Every single time he wants to go for vision because they're threatening the Nash start with his double AD carries, he feels pressured to walk forward into Fog of War. He dies there with flash, and ultimately that leads to this huge Baron fight.
Constant vision traps paying off. Sheo, you can see, desperate to get in there. The amount of damage he does is incredible on those grouped up targets, but ultimately not enough to stop the Baron. Not enough to find those kills. 3-12 the kill score. Chemtech Soul there for MDK for the gajillionth time this year. Tower will fall topside. Small consolation, but an 8k gold lead, and Soul feels like an insurmountable lead.
You know, I mean, kind of the silent hero in this game, I guess. Just He's been putting a lot of just map pressure in general down, and secures the bot tier 2. Top, sure, being pushed in by Nuke, something we often see from BDS when their back's against the wall, who try and find a split, try and get something else on the map. But as a reminder, the way our format works, we do have double elimination. Should BDS lose this game, as currently the state of the game suggests that they will be moving down into the lower bracket. And MDK will have the opportunity to fight through the upper bracket, which for MDK, to their credit, like, they don't very often get to do. Normally in winter, they got knocked into the lower bracket. I think the same thing happened in spring as well.
But you have to think, for BDS, how frustrating this has to be, because you were so clearly supposed to be the better team. And it was the same in winter. You were so clearly supposed to be the better team.
Yep.
And you lost that best of 5 in game 5 to MDK so they could make that miracle run to finals. And you have to wonder if it's coming back to haunt them now as they watch kind of this slow, inevitable march from MDK as they push in to break the base.
Yeah, I wonder if this is the beginning of a trend where every other split they do extremely well. Could be.
Well, no, you don't understand, Eragon. It's the Mad Lions to Worlds road. Mad Lions,
yes.
say what you will, regardless of their performance, they tend to find a way.
Yes. Was it in the past through gaps in our format? Potentially. This time around, they will certainly have to win multiple best of 5s.
And as a reminder, Summer...
What? Where are you going?
I was about to say, it will not secure you a spot at the World Championship.
No, so if you win Summer,
if you win Summer,
you get a minimum of, you get one of the seeds, right? And then season
so it would be the
finals
most Mad Lions thing to do to win Summer.
Mad at Worlds, Cat Despair, I think is the meme.
I like this. We've seen 3 games, we're already talking about Mad at Worlds. Yes. Yes. Don't overreact, anybody. This is the normal level of reaction.
In any case, there's still a lot left of the playoffs to be played. As MDK, the Baron has worn off. Elder in 3 minutes. Baron in 2.5. I wonder if they'll even need it. They're taking their time right now, but they have the Taliyah wall to zone people off if they want it, and they can use just that.
Myrwn and Alvaro.
Adam has no E.
Walking up to threaten. They don't do any damage to the
the
tower. So as good as the wall was, there's no follow-up. Of course, MDK are in such an advantageous position that they can afford to just kind of give that cooldown up. It doesn't hurt too much. You need to respect Labrov here, but Alvaro and Myrwn stepping very far forward, knowing that if they get hooked, it's really not the end of the world as long as Celestial opposition is there. They hook Myrwn. It's not ideal. Pushes W and walks away.
It's Blitzcrank pick. Really nullified, I feel like, in this draft. Trying to potentially land a decent hook, but Myrwn, he just has to stand there. Even at low HPs.
Look at those clean gold advantages at the bottom as well. Just all across the board, MDK in a commanding position, pretty much a full item over their counterpart. Looks like that they have gold that they want to spend. They're going to play the patient game for now.
Alvaro gets the angle. There wasn't a lot of follow-up there, so I doubt they would have been able to get much, but MDK still just continue to fish. 1:30 on the Baron, 2 minutes on the Elder. MDK will have mid-prio. We'll be able to get to the objective first unless BDS commit more members.
Once again, having a hard time cracking the base open. Now full topside control could lead to another Nash start, and once again it is really quick. So BDS, Labrov. Are you going to face check into Fog of War and get picked again? This is the problem they've had every single Nash dance.
Whoa, I mean, he just flew in.
Yes, he's not afraid of anything.
He heard me.
He did have a ward there, so it wasn't the riskiest play ever, but either way, BDS are able to get back a bit of vision as the resets come through from MDK. You can see 4 items finished. Fresskowy doesn't quite have the money to complete the Bloodthirster. That's okay. They're going to be more than strong enough as Baron spawns in 30. The Elder, I wonder, I mean, I guess the last win condition you're looking at for BDS is if they can maybe trade an Elder for Baron. That would be not a bad trade at all. But I don't think MDK is going to allow that to happen.
No, thus far, MDK very clean in their decision-making around these objectives. No reason to doubt them now, but BDS perhaps can find that window of opportunity. Alvaro stepping up pretty fearlessly. They're just going to delete the Rakan, and that might be a start of something positive, but no. Ulti coming from Myrwn, but he brings it back into his own team. Definitely not an ideal ulti. Sheo just trying to get away. In the meantime, Adam diving in, taking down Myrwn. That's a reset. Jinx now getting excited. BDS getting a bit of hope here. Can't get too over eager because Supa is still standing. Double 80 carries alive. Labrov, one more to bring it home. Finds Fresskowy in the clutch. You're trying to find the flick back. He'll hit Ice for a decent amount of damage, but he can't finish the job. MDK, the gold lead is too big. In a more even state, that might have been enough, but here it is not.
And what looks like the same game-losing throw as last game is slightly different because they have the advantage of having Soul on the side of MDK. I feel like the low HP stats, the defensive capability of this Soul providing. Alvaro, I feel like he thinks he's tankier than he is. Celestial opposition walks in, and then Myrwn, I think if he isolates Sheo here, ults towards the left.
I mean, honestly, I don't think he thought that he would go over the wall. I think that he wasn't quite planning for that. Sheo surviving on the tiniest of HP bars. Supa able to get a single kill back. It was a scary situation for MDK. Could have ended in disaster. And here we are. They posture around the Elder Dragon. The TPs are committed.
Ward of the pit. Means BDS don't have to get over eager here. Labrov with both of his carries beside him, but they really have to respect Myrwn's damage output. Still looking for the flank. MDK again.
They started off.
No flash for Sheo. Crucially,
BDS just need a steal. That's all they need. A single good Blitzcrank hook. We said it can change the whole game.
I think Myrwn just has to stand in front. If he just stands in front and his carries hit, they win. They can't get past MDK Myrwn.
Getting lower, trying to lock up Myrwn. Alvaro trying to kick the fight off. Fresskowy instantly jumping in. So much damage coming out from the Tristana. Nice root going in. Sheo low, but not dead yet. Ice alive. The reset's coming in. It might just be the same as game 2. But Ice, not enough damage yet. Myrwn still too damn tanky, but it's Elyoya who's been caught out. Labrov looking to follow up. Punches there. Hook. Elyoya going golden, but now Adam can follow up with to land the stun, but Supa's there to try to cover for his jungler. Jungler down. BDS can turn back for the Elder. You said it was the only way, and it's still possible. Elder on the table. BDS, they're just too far behind. They don't want to risk it. Blinking health bars, but they feel like they might have to.
I mean, BDS are just finding these fights. They begin the Elder. Myrwn still a tanky front line.
280 carries, every bit of poke really hurts MDK's chances. Nice knock up on a Myrwn. Myrwn about to get deleted, unstoppable here, dashing out, cannot flash to safety. BDS! BDS! To take down the Elder, it shouldn't be possible, but here we are.
A 10k gold lead is quickly whittling away. BDS find 2 back-to-back great fights. Now they make their way towards the Baron. Elyoya is still dead, there's no smite.
35 seconds on the front line too, Myrwn is gone. Double buffs, double endgame buffs for BDS. Can they get more off of it?
Oh my goodness, a game that should have been decided. A 10k gold lead has just disappeared as BDS make the fights happen.
But my question was, how did Labrov find this hook? Myrwn is in front. Okay, so they hook Myrwn, but then what happens to Alvaro? He tries to engage, gets instantly CC, but this is where I thought Ice, okay, he's going to clean up here. He has the reset coming in. Adam waits patiently in this bush on a blue ward, finds the pick onto Elyoya, who then Zhonya's as the hook, which looks okay, and it's still incredibly neck and neck.
But the TP comes back in for Nuke. The craziest thing is that Nuke actually survived in the pit at the end of that. And the fact that Ice was able to get that kill again, the reset comes through. They have the numbers advantage. Myrwn then wasn't in a position. He gets rooted up right at the start of the Elder, which means that he loses his life as well. And now it's a very interesting situation, because with Elder and Baron, MDK can't think that they'll win a fight.
So much standing gold available. Tier 2s across the board, whereas MDK have none left to take. Now it's about mitigating. Can you defend these tier 3 towers? Can you stop the super minions pouring in, as Myrwn might be picked?
Myrwn trying to make it out, has the ghost. BDS need to keep the pressure up. Labrov a lot more of a threat now that he has Fog of War to play in. Onslaught of pressure again. 50 seconds left to Elder. After that, MDK can feel a bit more comfortable to force a fight, but the gold difference is gone. It's all about execution now. Slow, steady siege. The Jinx well and truly online. 4 items for Ice. Oh, you're waiting in the darkness. Flick back, hitting Labrov is big. Caught out, but the follow-up not quite there to finish the job. Ice hitting the tower, focused. Wall to push them back, to try and hold the line to keep their base standing.
Look at mid, though. Adam went to go and catch the wave. BDS can make a quick rotation.
Labrov again, starting to look. Mormog's keeping up, flash forward, hooks Elyoya. Adam ready to follow. The minefield can't come through. Elder sniping one. Elyoya gives his life in exchange for Labrov's. BDS.
It's a lot of wave clear gone now, though.
They end it here. MDK, are they confident enough to pull the trigger? Tower fading in front of them. BDS looking to exercise some demons. Remembering back to the best of 5 they lost in winter. Keeping calm, keeping composed.
I genuinely think MDK have just played overall better than BDS have in this series. But to win games, all you need is those clutch moments, and BDS have found 2 of them. In game 2, Ice found an incredible ultimate off the back of his Aphelios, and this time round they just played 2 fights better than MDK did.
These fights around the bot side vision, around this blue buff, they keep happening, and BDS keep finding angles to come back into the game based off of them. Then that turns into a big Elder fight, and it's just a disaster. MDK throws their entire lead.
Chemtech Soul still there. Baron about to fade away. That advantage, at least, MDK can hold on to. But the gold advantage is gone. It's all about execution
it's Jinx's full build now. You know, like
with GA, this is a hard fight to navigate.
It all comes down to execution now. Labrov. Those hooks are game ending.
They hit a little bit different when you're not at a 10k gold deficit.
Yep.
What I'd like to know is this going to be the first Zephyrs we see in a professional game? Be interesting. At the very least in the LEC, as Labrov looks for a hook.
Funny, hook almost hits Elyoya up.
Nuke also
Alvaro
hitting like a truck.
Tanky. Again, when Celestial opposition fades away, Alvaro's incredibly squishy. MDK retreating. 2 minutes on Elder, so they don't need to be scared yet, but BDS giving themselves so much space. And you can see MDK just kind of fishing for picks, hoping to find something as they lose more and more control here on the bottom side.
it's just a matter of stalling, waiting for the next Elder. I wonder if this game will be decided or whether a pick will happen before that. Vision being cleared out, the control that MDK have had pretty much for the entire game, whittling away. There's a single ward. I don't know if that's a blue trinket at the bottom tri-brush or not, but there's possibility for a TP flank. MDK, though, they prioritized the mid-wave.
Elyoya waiting off to the side, lays down the wall, hoping to isolate the carries potentially, but the rest of MDK not in a good position to follow up. Labrov sidestepping, looking for the hook angle, only going to hit
nice,
Myrwn.
unstoppable.
Again, the flick back just not connecting. Alvaro taking a decent chunk.
It's tense.
I mean, it's all just about the 5v5, but Ice just gets to keep walking forward, throwing down these autos. Alvaro taking so much damage for free, MDK getting pushed back.
Alvaro has the Warmogs, though. He should be able to sustain it back up.
Recall's now coming in. Bit of a split decision here. BDS aren't going to get too aggressive.
Can you just run down mid? Oh, I guess there's not really much for them to run down mid 4. Oh, they're pinging the bot tower.
In mid push, sideways are pushing in as well for the side of BDS, so MDK really on a timer in that entire play. You see they're trying to force it with that Weaver's Wall. Not going to quite find it. There's no follow-up on there.
Yeah, should be able to clear this one out pretty quickly.
Go 40 seconds until the Elder.
There's a special kind of irony in a game where both teams neglected dragons for the entirety of the series that we're going to have 2 Elders in the last game.
Oh yeah,
that's a graph.
10,413 was the goal difference, and now it's 300.
Incredibly strange, but thrilling to watch a game. Good comeback from BDS, MDK, kicking themselves a bit, but can't lose focus, can't lose composure. They're not out of this yet.
They've been desperately trying to funnel gold into Fresskowy because he still hadn't gotten 6th item. He's been catching every single sideway, playing complete janitor mode, but before this Elder, he's not going to have time to complete it. So a little bit behind him, items there, and DPS. That flank though.
TP behind. MDK
Wait, but can't they just kill him?
Immediately recalling, just going to try to burst through Myrwn.
Oh,
Myrwn
no.
very squishy. That is not the fight or the angle that they were looking for. Excuse me, Adam. Myrwn walks up. Knockup is there, good damage. In the meantime, Myrwn getting lower and lower. Both top laners walking in. Now the ulti coming down from Sheo. In the meantime, unstoppable pullback. Manages to make it out of the safety, just Kasateing. Manages to sidestep the rocket as well. That's going to be crucial. 2 members down on the side of BDS. Ice, Sheo, Nuke, triple carries.
And no TP available for Adam, so he can't rejoin the fight. The TP from Fresskowy.
TP from Fresskowy for a very extended flank.
I thought he was going to try and end, but they can't.
They've got a wave.
Fresskowy taking his time.
All the flanks here.
Trying to find the knockup. Trying to delay Sheo, but they're entirely split. BDS turning back better. Fresskowy now the one who's going to be isolated. Wants to finish off Sheo. Wants to get the rocket jump out to safety. He's burning the plant, doing a bit more damage. The Elder might just finish him off. Fresskowy, but no, the Chemtech Soul keeping him alive. The Elder not going to finish. MDK continuing to step up, doing so much work. Jungler is dead.
It's 2 versus 5. They don't have strike.
Supa has no mana. Can they finish it? Yes, they get the objective. Alvaro trying to finish. Nuke wants to do a bit more damage. BDS somehow managed to get it. Nuke resurrecting. Pulling back. MDK, they get the objective. Ice deleted. It is an absolute mess, but in the end, MDK take the Elder.
MDK make the fight happen in what has been a crazy game from losing a 10k gold lead. And Adam, can he find another play?
Waiting.
They just need to check
Supa. Chemtech, good damage coming in. Supa manages to get out. Retreat now. The knock up there, but Adam's out of cooldowns. Fresskowy deleting the desperation play does not pay off. Labrov slowly but surely going to fall. We cut to an angle of champions. It's back to the game. We're back into the game. We're all a little bit lost in this one, but it's MDK who found their way. MDK looking to find the win right here. Sheo desperately deleting the wave. 19 seconds on Ice, 12 seconds on Nuke. Minions really are not there. They might be able to make one last desperate stand even without their top laner. Myrwn, though, such a strong frontliner. BDS on the ropes. MDK looking to deliver the killer, bro. The wall is there. The 80 carries can start to hit. Nuke, does he have enough damage to turn this back? MDK being pushed back. Oh my god.
The game is still going!
Wall Street, baby, we're not leaving!
They can't end! They have Chemtech Soul and Elder, and one's dead. I thought for sure that was going to be the angle.
Alvaro turn it back, they're caught out. Now the double 80 carry starting to step up. The Labrov is still standing. Alvaro's giving his life. That's the reset for Ice! Rocket continuing. Movement speed is there. Fresskowy with the knockback. Smart play, but it might cost him. Still just trying to retreat, desperate to get away from those rockets.
Wait, but can't they just
jumping
Baron?
forward. Nuke, shutdown is there!
BDS can just Baron!
It's Chemtech Soul and Elder versus Ice's Resets, and Ice's Resets won that fight. What is happening?
They can just Baron, no? Can't they just...
Supa's here.
I mean, they're still against Elder.
Elyoya's alive.
so strong.
They're
It's going to wear off in 30
nervous.
seconds. There's no way that he can steal this. Surely not. Like, this is just a Baron for BDS.
Supa jumped over this wall once before in a highly questionable grub fight. Will he do it again here? No. We'll just retreat. 3 minutes. BDS will have the advantage in pressure and push. And we just keep going. We're never stopping. You're all here forever. Hope you have no other plans. We live in this game now. Rocket Origin, screw it. Welcome to the new age. It's BDS MDK.
Oh my. Wow. I mean, there's not much to break down. We just got, it's another fight. Another fight will decide the game. It's the play-by-play's heaven.
I like that summary.
Yeah.
You sound like a highly unqualified UFC commentator. Not much to happen. They were hitting each other. Myrwn.
Oh, Myrwn?
Wait, Myrwn about to get deleted. Again, he has the shield coming for the Derek, but Myrwn's gone.
Wait. With Baron now, can't BDS just run it down mid?
You would think, but nothing is sure. As long as the Nexus stands, no one is out of this game.
We have double Zephyr. We are in the late game now. For sure, they can just run it down and no, they are so strong at this point.
No for sure. BDS pushing.
Sure.
Nobody at this point can tank a Blitzcrank hook except for K'Sante, and K'Sante is down. I think this has to be it.
BDS. Baron empowered wave, a Jinx with resets. Elyoya once again laying down the wall to give the team a bit of space. Supa getting incredibly chunked. Rocket not gonna hit. Alvaro off to the side, just trying to pull the wave away from the Nexus. Fresskowy doing decent damage, but Adam already moving in and getting the stun. Input buffer is there. It's all on Supa to try to save this one. Elyoya is dead as soon as he comes out of the stasis. BDS focusing on the objective. BDS just need to hit the X's. BDS will end it here. I don't know what we saw. I don't know what this was. But apparently BDS were better at it, and they take those.
Unbelievable smiles on the faces of BDS as they make an insane comeback happen. MDK have to be feeling so frustrated. A 10k gold lead. It felt like that there was no way they could lose from that position, but BDS kept finding the fights.
That was the goofiest series I've ever seen. But in the end, BDS's team fighting, it was just better.
It was incredible. BDS stuck with it to the bitter end. There will be a lot to review. But at the end of the day, again, a win is a win. Vote for your key players of the series at LEC on X, Sheo, Ice, or Labrov. Guys, I don't know what to tell you. I think it's Ice.
I think it's Ice.
I don't know.
The Ice clutch moments with Aphelios and now Jinx.
Yeah. You guys decide.
Please decide for us. This is too much responsibility.
Oh my god, I genuinely can't believe BDS won that game.
Yep.
That goal grab was perfect. Like, I can't...
And look, like, MDK is still leveled up a ton, right? As long as they can keep their heads on their shoulders moving forward, they're still a big threat, but that was just a wild series. Like, we can talk about what's coming next later, because right now, I'm still trying to figure out...
I mean, the review needs to be what went wrong for MDK to not close the game, because unfortunately, right, the game ended at 42-45. MDK was in the winning position at 23-0-0, and I don't remember because so much has happened that mere 20 minutes ago how they were in such a winning position to basically end the game and then they couldn't do it. Like, it's crazy. I feel bad for MDK because I genuinely think they played incredibly well for the whole series. They are the team to fear in the lower bracket for sure. But at the end of the day, if you can't close out games...
Yeah.
Look, I mean, you said it simply, right? This is a position that I did not expect to be in. Again, this was supposed to be, as you said on the podcast, right? 2-0s across the board. Top teams clearly better than bottom teams. And that has been upset by a single team thus far, and that's MDK. And while BDS brought it back, and again, credit to the tenacity to keep their heads on their shoulders, to focus on the game, to eventually find those opportunities, that game should have been unwinnable. Probably, I don't want to say much about Game 2 because, again, in this fever dream of a day, I have forgotten all of Game 2 except for the Ice ulti, but Game 3 certainly should have been unwinnable, and BDS managed to find a way to make it happen, and for MDK, again, so many good things. The synergies, the plays, the way they were working together looked fantastic, but it just was not enough to get them across the finish line.
Whew. Yeah, I mean...
In all seriousness, I think these fights around topside, especially around that blue buff, with these Baron consistent plays around there with the vision, that was where they had issues. Face checking and, you know, Labrov specifically trying to find vision to make sure they aren't rushing down the Nash.
It was tricky, but ultimately, they made it work, and Trouble's now standing by with Sheo and Labrov in the Marriott Bonvoy post-game check-in.
Thank you so much, guys, and Congrats. That was a very intense game to cast as well. It was all three of them. Thank you so much for joining me, Sheo, Labrov. Congrats on the victory. Now, Niski said it was going to be a clean, quick 3-0 for you guys. That was anything but clean, Labrov?
To me, it was very clean.
All right.
Niski was right.
Niski was Sheo? Any thoughts on that?
I agree. I think we played perfectly, and we just show our best level.
You know what? If you guys are not going to say it to me, I'm going to get it out of you. Labrov, I'm going to start with you. You were getting called quite a bit in game number 1 and game number 2. Does that have to do anything with the burden of execution when there's too many carries in the team? And you unfortunately have to play on the non-fan champions when everyone else does?
I think game 1 I was just running it down. I just played really bad. Yeah, I felt like I just felt very off during game 1, and yeah, I think that was the main reason. Honestly, it is not related to champs or anything. Game 2, I wouldn't say so, but I think it slowly got better during the series.
All right, you guys were warming up, it seems. Sheo, I want to come over to you for that last game that we just witnessed. Because I'm not going to lie to you, I was standing over there after game 2, ready to interview MDK, and you guys standing around with a fantastic play around Baron. And I want to ask you, what were the comms like on this Baron play?
I don't remember, but I think it was probably very chaotic, as usual. But we managed to play it well. I think enemy team trolled a lot, so we managed to come back. So thanks to enemy team.
All right, and game number 3, Labrov, it looked so doomed in the early game. I spoke to the coach from MDK, and he said, you know what, as long as we keep our balance, as long as we play wall basically for you guys to engage on, we'll be fine. They did anything bad. Can you run me through that third game and how it kept going in the comms?
Yeah, I felt like in game 3, after one point, it was pretty hard. I felt like our, how do I say, positive energy or how winnable the game is still might have dropped compared to the second game, for example. But personally, I still had hope. Mad Lions is a good team, but they tend to throw. They also lost a similar game against KCE in the regular season, and I was just playing, and in the end, it worked.
Yeah, we saw Ice work overtime a little bit, so you guys probably owe him some ice cream or something when you're backstage. Sheo, I want to come over to you because there was a lot of talk about how you do a lot of the carrying in BDS. You have been given the Lee Sin over the entire year. You've been given the Taliyah, the Zyra, all that kind of stuff. And we've seen internationally, this is a huge meta. 4 carries, sometimes 5, if you had Pikes and Bards over in the bot lane. How is the execution and how difficult is it to play with 4 carries in one team?
I think it's a lot on Labrov, because he's the only engage, most likely. So if Labrov doesn't fight insane combo, we can maybe struggle. But if you have outrange combs with Zyra today, even if you don't find insane engage, we can still play with 4 carries and manage to play it really good.
And of course, a lot of the burden of execution falls on you having to play the engaged champions. We've talked about this before. However, have you watched any of the games internationally, potentially over in the LCK, LPL, to get any inspiration?
Yeah, I'm watching a lot of LPL and LCK. And to me, it's a bit weird because they don't have the same priors as LEC, at least in bot lanes so far. For example, they don't prior rel that highly, and I feel in LEC it has been priored pretty highly so far. Yeah, and I'm learning a lot by watching these regions.
Absolutely, and Striker is waiting over on the other side for PGL. Any words for your coach, which you probably almost gave a heart attack to?
Don't eat us when we come back.
All right, no stress. Over to PGL for you guys. You'll see Striker there. Take it away.